This afternoon, we all knew that the weather forecast for Sunday was going to be a little less than the other days, and so I already suspected that the outdoor activity wasn't going to happen, and that's how it is. So, in one sense, that makes the whole retreat a lot of sitting in a hall and a lot of talking. Usually we do something outside, nice things with the deities. One year, in one retreat, we took the deities on our heads into the forest, and then we just built an altar of things from the forest, and others were making a swing, also made with bits of wood and whatever from the forest, and it all worked. And it was nice, actually. But okay, it's not destined to be this time. So instead, we'll continue here with another session in the hall, and the idea is that we do some question and answers. I have lots of questions from yesterday, but of course we can also write some new ones. Also, I have a book that was produced in South Africa that is here. I'm not selling it, but ask us for, give a donation, and you can take it like that. Whatever you give, you give. Obviously, it costs something. I'll read a little bit. It is all excerpts from lectures, really. The only thing I wrote is the introduction. It's the title and the title, Words of a Public Hermit. And a public hermit is, in a sense, a contradiction in terms, because generally hermits hide in caves somewhere or secluded places. But in a sense, as a sannyasi, it's like what you are. You live with the people, but are secluded at the same time. So it's a strange way of life. I sum it up as a public hermit. The other day I was reading that the topmost devotee feels the presence of his spiritual master in every atom of his existence. So the more we try to adjust our life according to the desire of the spiritual master, the more he's always present. That's the secret. So you should always think, he's watching everything I do. The spiritual master may not be with us, but if he sees us after 6 months, then one look at our face, and by the expression on our face, we can see what we have done for the last 6 months. We can only come close to the spiritual master in surrender and service. And then even when we're far away, we feel very close. So that statement that the topmost devotee feels the presence of his spiritual master in every atom of his existence is, well, that is a meditation. It means that every aspect of life is an offering. Everything. Nothing is not an offering to the spiritual master. So it's like, it's not a casual relationship, basically. The guru-disciple relationship is not an addition to our life. Okay, I have one, you know. It's like, do you have a pet? Yes, I have a pet, actually. Do you have a guru? Yes, I do. Yeah, I do have one. Yeah. Oh, what kind? A Labrador. No, really. It is not exactly like that. It is rather. It is at the very core of our spiritual life. If we put everything in that relationship, then everything will come also. Pure devotional service is not an easy thing, but everyone is supposed to pursue it. Not that in this movement a few are supposed to try, but a unique feature of our movement, that it is a movement of no compromise in principles of purity, we must all pursue. Every single member of this movement has the same goal, to become a pure devotee. And so whether we are thinking like that or not, that doesn't matter. It's still our goal. It's still what we should be doing. And some may come to that very late in life. Because at the end of life, everything falls away very quickly. And then suddenly one starts doing what one knows that one was supposed to do throughout his life. But that's not the best thing. Better make an endeavor now, and in other words, to think it's not that a few are meant to be pure devotees and everyone else is just meant to be a regular devotee, whatever that is. No, everyone's meant to be a pure devotee, nothing less. I'm just reading these few little things, not to sell you the book, but that's okay. But rather to spark off some questions, some fresh questions, because stale questions are like stale bread, you know, leftovers. Who likes leftovers? It's not the same, you know, the second day, and so on. The success to come are more than just prayers. They are very much the foundation of our spiritual life. We are meant to take shelter of them, and they're meant to be guiding beacons in our spiritual life. So yes, the success to come are just summarizing everything, everything we do in 8 verses, and if somehow or other we focus more on them. If one knows these 8 verses by heart, that is very good. That is what is required. We shouldn't just hear about the success to come. It should be something in the forefront. So again, something to hang on your wall. See, there's already things, 26 qualities of a devotee hanging on the wall. The success to come, yeah, you can go somewhere else. Lots of walls in the home. A few verses on the wall and some pictures. That would be very nice. How sincere are we really? That is the question. We should not so easily accept that we are sincere, but rather we should see that we fall short in sincerity, and we should deepen our sincerity. In other words, a devotee has to be trying to become something, not just be around, but really try to become a pure devotee. It doesn't matter how old we are, we can do it any time, anyone can do it. Prahlad was 5, and he was the pure devotee, and everyone else was learning from Prahlad. So, anyone can do. Dhruva Maharaj also, at a young age. So it is a matter of when we realize that we're falling short in sincerity, we should make an effort to deepen our sincerity. In other words, we should increase our commitment, because sincerity is measured in the commitment that we make in sadhana and in service. It is that to which we must come to. Our Krishna consciousness is measured in what sacrifices we are ready to make for Krishna. We must make some sacrifice, not in the mode of passion, but in the mode of goodness, which means a lasting sacrifice. Not that one day we get up 1 o'clock and the next day we get up at 9 o'clock. Not that one day we chant 64 rounds and the next day we chant 4 rounds. No, we must make a commitment. Krishna is asking for this. Sankhya Purva Nam Kamanativi Satkuswami Astak, number 6. He wants us to chant a fixed number of rounds, not just as we feel. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said that when we touch our beads, then we touch the lotus feet of Lord Chaitanya. Isn't that nice? I like that myself. By touching our beads, we touch the lotus feet of Lord Chaitanya. So that's quite a deep statement. It is said, by touching the lotus feet of Lord Chaitanya, there's mercy, obviously, because he's the most magnanimous incarnation. So we must understand, really, how much benefit is there in the chanting, that we must do it. But the mind says, oh, so difficult, oh, other interests, other things to do, and we are controlled by the mind. Thus we are not sincere, we can see that, but we can strengthen ourselves by regular hearing and chanting and associating with devotees. That is really what we need to do. Regular means daily. So some things we have to fix, not just a quota, but maybe also the time. That we say, okay, I chant every day at this time. That you fix, and you build your life around it. It doesn't mean, like for example, if you say every day I chant from 5 to 7 in the morning. Some days you'll be exhausted, obviously, but you already knew the night before you were exhausted, right? So if you need extra rest, all right, let's put it before 5 o'clock, not after 5 o'clock. If we keep that 5 to 7 as a sacred time, nothing can touch it, then the result is that we build up strength over the years. But if one day you chant the 16 rounds here, and next day you chant them there, it's also 16 rounds. But it won't have the same momentum, and won't have the same power. Right? And it's not a matter of, I'm not just speaking about determination. Right? If it was only a matter of determination, I'm going to chant those 16 rounds from 5 to 7, I shall, and so on. No, I have a story for you. It is the story about Karna. And we may remember how Karna was the son of Kunti, was given up at birth and was put in a basket, floated down the river, which seemed to be more common in those days. And at least there's lots of stories about children in baskets floating down rivers. And so then he was found by a chariot driver, and therefore he was not considered Kshatriya. So this was very painful to Karna, because by nature he was very much Kshatriya. So he was refused by Dronacharya, who would not accept him as a student. So then finally he went to Parasuram. Parasuram was the ultimate warrior, but Parasuram was against the Kshatriyas. So Parasuram inquired from him, so you are a Kshatriya? And for the first time in his life, with pleasure, he could say, no, I'm not a Kshatriya. Right? So he was accepted by Parasuram as his student, and he served him very, very nicely. He learned everything, and Parasuram was extremely pleased with him. One day, the guru was resting with his head on the leg of his disciple. Just then, this nasty insect, some sort of insect with a drill on its nose, it came and it sat down on Karna's leg, that leg where the head of his guru was resting, and he started systematically drilling a serious hole in his leg, yeah? And blood started gushing out. And Karna, what to do? His guru was sleeping with his head on his lap. He just bit his teeth, you know. Sat there and tolerated the whole thing and never moved. Didn't even flex his muscles. So Parasuram slept very nicely and then woke up after some time, and then he saw the blood on the leg of Karna. And he said that, what's this? Then Karna said, oh, well, while you were sleeping, this insect, it just attacked me and stung me in the leg. Then Parasuram smelled a Kshatriya. And he said, you know, how could you tolerate this? How could you tolerate this? No ordinary person could tolerate such a thing. He said, you are a Kshatriya. You have cheated me. And you have stolen all this knowledge from me. But I curse you that at the time that you need it the most, you will forget. Yeah? Okay, you remember the story now. And it's very interesting because we're dealing with the determination of the Kshatriya. And that Parasuram recognized the determination of the Kshatriya and the tolerance of the Kshatriya. And that the tolerance of the Kshatriya was even greater than the tolerance of the Brahmana. In the moment, but not in the long run. In the long run, the tolerance and the determination of the Brahmana is greater. Because in the long run, the Brahmana doesn't own knowledge. So he sees no alternative. What else will I do? If you understand, what else will I do? You know, but the Kshatriya doesn't understand like that. The Kshatriya is the I shall do. And I'm gonna do it. And somehow or other I will do it. So if we in our chanting have that kind of mood from I shall chant every day from 5 to 7, then the result is that it will not be, well, we'll get tired. After some time, yes, I shall chant every day from 5 to 7. I shall. But then, after some time, we run out of steam. But the Brahmana, he remains refreshed because his knowledge is there. He's understanding, no, this is the best thing I can do. Therefore, when I say we fix it between 5 and 7, I don't mean in a stressful way, based on I must, I shall, and so on, but just on understanding, on deep understanding from, if I do this every day, then my chanting will become very strong and powerful. And then it will have much more potency than when I just chant here and there. And it's not difficult because it's just a matter of organizing your time around it. Just as when you work, you manage to organize your life around work. Work is work, that's fixed. But we do everything. We rest, we have some fun, we do all kinds of things around work. But because we fixed the work in our life, as simple as that. And then we manage to build everything around, isn't it? And we do, you know, when you're tired, well, you take rest before or after, you go early to bed, because you know, tomorrow I have to work, and work is fixed. So in the same way, we just fix the rounds, say from 5 to 7. Then, you know, okay, some days we'll take more rest before, some days less, you know, whatever. Right? But in that way, the rounds are there, and naturally then they build up powerful momentum. And it makes a difference, quite a difference, in terms of quality. Because again, we can try to chant quality on the strength of determination. I'm really gonna fight my mind today. I mean, mind, here I come. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. And then after the rounds, God, I'm exhausted. that was a real workout. I'm finished, you know. So that doesn't work. That doesn't work. We must just, in a relaxed way, try to chant quality rounds. So my proposal is a good proposal, because in a regular rhythm, we will be able to do better. Like that. And the little book gives us some food for thought. Well, many things are about eagerness. If we want to go fast, if we really want to go quickly to Krishna, then we must fill the maximum amount of time. We must use the maximum amount of our energy simply for glorifying Krishna. That can be done in many ways. It can be done by energy, can be done by possessions, can be done by intelligence, can be done by wit, but somehow or other we must always glorify Krishna if we want to go fast. So yes, it takes that effort. We are making an attempt here this weekend in hearing and chanting. We're doing great, and maybe we should just keep on going. Just stay here, Govinda Valley. We all just joined Govinda Valley. What about that? Is it okay? Yeah. Well, some can work in the garden, others can just take care of the guests. We just all join, finished. Why leave? Once Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said something like that, to one man who Srila Bhaktisiddhanta said, stay. And then he said, no, I have a ticket. I have a ticket to go back. And then he said, if you can't give up a ticket to the material world, right, then how can you ever expect to make spiritual progress? So, like that, So, maybe we'll just all stay here. Tell Atmaram the news. He's gonna like it. So many volunteers. And don't worry about the relatives that still are back home. They will also come. It'll be fun. Prabhupada said that if one can simply read one verse a day, then all perfection can be attained. Even if one reads one line of a verse every day, perfection can be attained. Even if one reads one word, just one word a day, and we go, one word a day, so much. Have we already read one word in the Bhagavad Gita today? Somehow or other, that is difficult. We simply allow ourselves to be pushed along by the waves of material existence. We just go along with it. We go along with wherever the waves push us. Whatever happens during the day, we go along with it. But we're not really investing in spiritual life. So yeah, we have to become more deliberate in life. More from what am I going to do? One has to work by a plan, not as like, well, just respond to what's happening. Spiritual life is not about just responding to what is happening. Spiritual life is by systematically bringing Krishna into our life. And part of it is by habits, like I said about the chanting. And if we build these things, we put them in place, and little by little, it is there. And of course, reading is just as important as chanting, because without reading, it becomes very difficult to remember. And then we lose the motivation. We don't know why we're doing it anymore. So if we don't read, then after a while, Krishna consciousness gets very tough. We are finding it difficult. So, like that, spiritual life is not just going with the flow. And we see that those devotees who lived in a temple life, that's where you get that kind of a program. I mean, I'm sure this weekend there was a lot of Krishna. It was a Krishna weekend, that's for sure, Got some extra Krishna this weekend. because it was Krishna in the morning, it was Krishna in the day, it was Krishna before lunch, Krishna after lunch, and then Krishna for dessert. It was Krishna and Krishna and Krishna. And so we're not used to that, but if that would be our everyday activity, then we would still think, oh, this was not so much. So it is a matter of building up regular practice, regular chanting, regular hearing, everything regular. As simple as that. For example, why not read one page of scripture every day? One page. It's not much. Or one verse, one purport, depending on the book. One page. Just one page. Can be done either at the beginning of the day, before you go out the door. One page. Everybody reads pages of newspaper in the morning. Yeah. That's what the whole world do. And we cannot read one page of Shastra every day. No, it's just that we are not doing it. So one thing is, you just take a book, Bhagavatam or whatever, and you put it open on the table. So it's lying there telling you, read me, read me, read. It's always open on the table. Maybe on the dinner table, you know, where you put your plate right there. You know? It's lying there, so before you can put your plate, oh, the book's there. So you want this? We need to do such things in our life. We need to kind of bring Krishna to ourselves. Not expect that we take the initiative, but take initiative so that we just stumble over it. And we can't get around it. That's how we are. Because if you have to do it, it's so difficult. Like, you know, you have your MP3 player, whatever it is, but you just push the buttons and turn on the lecture. Ooh, yeah. To move the thumb. Hard. Very difficult. Little things become a big thing. I got more questions. Let's see if we're on the topic. Okay. On the topic. The Tulasi Maharani plant that is kept in our house is leaving us. She's poorly maintained due to both time constraints and laziness. How can the situation be improved? How to maintain? Well, laziness, okay, you know what you can do about that, right? But if you need some help, I have some boots, and just turn a certain part of the body in my directions and we'll see what we can do. The point is, laziness is such a thing, you know. Laziness is weakness. No willpower, no spine, no determination. We have become very weak, mentally weak. Do I really have to get up? You have to turn on the shower. That's someone's work. Why would I open it and then close it again? If I don't turn it on, I save myself a lot of work. That's called the vote of ignorance. So what to do? We have to train ourselves in little things, activate ourselves. Everybody's got it, where you think like, well, I'll do it later. You have something, you leave it lying around and think, I'll do it later. No, now. You used it, clean it, put it away, straight away. No using and leaving it. And then using other things and leaving it. And the whole house is full of dirty plates, or there's a huge stack of dirty cloth, and so on. That's laziness. That's your room, huh? No, just use it, fix it up straight away. Then you'll overcome the laziness of the mind. So it's actually happening in the little things. And then when it's because it become habits, then when it comes to Tulsi, we're also lazy. Because we have no self-discipline at all. Time constraints, well, if the time constraints are real, then don't take Tulsi. Only take Tulsi if you can. If the time constraints are such that you cannot water Tulsi, and whatever other care is needed, then don't have Tulsi. Laziness can be overcome. Time constraints, what can be done? But then again, is it real or is it an excuse? Time constraints, because it doesn't take so much time to take care of Tulsi. I mean, does it take so much time? Not hours and hours. I mean, 15. If you do 15 minutes a day, then you really like serious Tulsi. That's serious Tulsi care. So 15 minutes a day, time constraints. I don't know who wrote this. Maybe the Prime Minister. Alright, sorry about that. We always talk about making big temple, which is alright, but don't you think we should talk about other things like poverty, unemployment, child labor, etc., how to reduce and eradicate these, especially in India. Things like poverty, unemployment, child labor, and then you said etc., earthquakes, floods, and so on, and endless disasters are happening in the material world. Previously, such things were not there. At the time of Lord Ramachandra, it was not there, because there was Ram Raja, proper government, and now it's different. So what to do about these things? Well, building temples is also not necessarily the main activity. The main activity is the devotees in the temple, who are worshipping the Lord, who are serving the Lord. Such devotees, they are doing the most important welfare work, because they're not doing just the welfare work of the body, they're doing the welfare work of the soul, which is more important, because the soul is eternal. Therefore, no, we should not deal with all these things like poverty, unemployment, child labor, and all these things. And by the way, I was just reading an article, and it said if you would abolish child labor in India today, then all these children would turn beggars. The Indian society has traditionally, for a long time, had child labor. But when India went technology, see, children were always running around, they were always the goal for here. In the tea shop, go bring the tea, bring to him. That has been going on for a long time. But when factories started, they started to send children to the factories, etc. So it's not a new phenomenon that children are engaged in India. It's just the West who is saying, shame, shame on you, oh, that in India you have child labor. No. It's that we imposed Western society upon you, and now you have suddenly the children who were helping their parents on the field, or in a more natural setting in the village, now suddenly they work in ugly factories without protection, and it becomes uglier and uglier. Whereas when I'm somewhere in the Himalayas and I see a kid helping the mother, and the mother's carrying a big bundle of grass or whatever it this, and the child's carrying a small bundle. I don't think this cruel mother is torturing her kid. I remember myself when I was a kid. I used to help my mother. Yeah? Sometimes I was sick, and then when I got better, I would clean the whole house for her. And then she said, okay, you can stay sick one day longer. You're doing well. So I wanted to do that, right? Because I wanted to help. So kids want to help. So it's not just that child labor is something unnatural. It is. It is our urban lifestyle that's unnatural, and then it all becomes ugly. If it would be in a village setting, it doesn't look so bad. Okay, we're not talking about the child just looking like an animal. But the examples I gave are quite reasonable, and you see that in India. That doesn't look bad to me. It looks bad to me when I read these stories about the kids in the factories and metal parts are flying around and they don't have enough protection and this and that. Okay, that's horrible. But still, it's part of exploitation. So ultimately, Krishna consciousness is more urgent. We are feeling sad to see all this exploitation. But Krishna consciousness is more important. It is the one thing that can change everything. If we can change the mentality of the exploiting people, then we can fix everything. Next one. Thanks for the nice retreat, Maharaj. Please tell us where would be mind seated in our body. Well, it is said that the soul is seated within the heart, and mind, the subtle body, is situated around the soul. However, in the material body, the functions of the soul are going on, the functions of the mind are going on in different places in the body. Right? Thinking, feeling, and willing. I guess willing is again there. Well, it's maybe combined. I guess it's thinking, feeling, willing. When the two come together, I want it. So these are the functions of the mind. So it's divided between the head and the heart, and it's the mind is accompanying the soul as long as we are in the material body. And it's the same mind that travels with us life after life. So if you have trouble with your mind, you're going to have trouble with it for a long time. During seminar slides for the qualities of devotees, the title was 26 qualities. However, only 25 are mentioned. Really? Wow, I must have cut one off somehow or other. There were not 26 numbers? Oh, it got cut off. Huh? What? No, that's okay. But you're a witness to the fact. If you would have said it there and then I had the computer, I could have looked it up. But just off the top of my head, I couldn't possibly rattle off 26 qualities. My memory gets lost somewhere. Anything more than 7 digits gets tough in my memory. And numbers with 26 digits are over my head. Gosh. So we have to look it up. the 26 qualities of devotees, you can look up in the database, type it in, and you'll surely find it. If you don't have a database, Google it, and you'll find it on the internet also, or you can just download them easy. In fact, if someone has a computer right now, they can just Google 26 qualities of devotee, and they can get it right away and tell us. Or if you have a smartphone. Sometimes you see these cartoons and you see like that instead of the guru there is like there is a computer with Google. And you could have as well put Google here on the table instead of Kadamba Kanana Swami. You might have gotten more complete answers. Instead of 25 qualities, you would have gotten 26. Please elaborate the importance of devotee care in our community. Where have I heard that word before? Devotee care, devotee care, devotee care. It's the latest buzzword in the Hare Krishna movement. Devotee care, devotee care, devotee care. Well, devotee care is okay. In the time when I became a devotee, we had a different motto. In those days, the motto was sink or swim. And they would basically throw you right in the deep, and quite a few sunk, yeah, and some just started swimming and survived. And there is a bit of both required. Yeah? If there's no devotee care, that's not good. If everything is about devotee care, Hare Prabhu, are you sitting comfortable? Would you like an extra little cushion, Prabhu? Can you tolerate the austerity, Prabhu, of just of this room? It's so austere. Would you like? Should we bring another sofa for you as well? Would you? What if we all would have our own sofa? I think it's a great idea. So how far do we want to take it? You know, like if we get so a certain amount of support and care is needed, and then there's a certain amount where we must be self-reliant. And it's also like that with children, the same thing. If you're overprotective parent, I saw the other day. I went in South Africa. There were two birthdays. You know, Hare Krishna to you, may you never take birth again. He's a jolly advice. The whole thing, right? Okay, we had the whole party and everything. And then there was a 4-year-old with a big knife, and that 4-year-old was expertly cutting the cake. And then they had an 8-year-old, and then the father, you know, as the boy was trying to cut the cake, was going a little slow, right? His father immediately grabbed the knife and cut the cake. Well, I know the results, you know. I mean, you know, the 4-year-old, when she's 20, she's going to be a pro, you know, cutting cakes like left and right, you know, 2 cakes at the same time. The guy, the 8-year-old, even when he's 80, you know, never going to be able to cut his own cake, you know. So that's quite. So devotee care should not create helpless people. It's good, we need care, we need support, but we should not have helpless people who constantly need psychological support and, you know, like, I mean, are you okay? Are you dealing with your traumas? And do you need some counseling maybe, Prabhu? Yes. No, here is your number of your counselor, and you can call him anytime you feel a little uneasy in your Krishna consciousness. We want to make sure that you have a good support structure and you are well taken care of. I don't know. I think that if one has to deal with life, one also grows up. So bit of both, really a bit of both. We shouldn't make it so soft. We also have to learn to rise to the occasion. Yes, 26 qualities. Expert, number 26. What? Silent was missing. Huh? Expert is there, yeah, that's what I thought. Silent was missing there. Maybe number 25. Somehow I was cutting and pasting because I threw it was a long list and I put it in 2 columns.
With me, silent is 26.
On his computer, silent is 26.
Mine is a better computer.
Yes, Lenovo. Okay, anyway, maybe silent was missing. Okay, so I'm for devotee care, but within balance. In the earlier class you spoke about unintelligent women, but I think that Kunti Devi is the most intelligent, as Bhagavatam begins with her prayers. She's praying one of the verses, cut the ties of affection towards my son and kinsman. I think of her son, so very dear to Krishna, she's still praying like this. Can you please explain? How makes me understand? Yes, I didn't say that women are unintelligent. I just was interviewing people and I said that in the philosophy of Krishna consciousness we hear that. However, we heard in the answers that maybe it has something to do with the body, first of all. First, let's begin. What is the definition of intelligence? Intelligence is not if you're able to come up with complex mathematical formulas or not. Intelligence is that you understand what is the goal of life and that you act upon it. So intelligence means to do, to act according to duty. Now the problem is that when we are conditioned souls, that we don't feel like duty. The feelings are strongly, at times, pulling in another direction. Then one has to come in with intelligence and say no to the feelings. That's difficult. And ladies are a little bit more inclined towards feelings than men. Therefore, that makes it difficult to always choose for the intelligent option. Oh no, but I really feel it, you know, I mean, no, I have to do it. Please, you know, use your brain, yeah, okay, no, but I feel it, you see. So if we act too much upon feelings, then we are sometimes weak in choosing for the intelligence. That is the point that is made. Now, those who are, ladies who are deeper situated in spiritual knowledge, they will also say, no, if this feeling is Maya, I will not follow it. I will act upon intelligence. Such ladies are extremely intelligent, right? And are classified as intelligent. And Kunti Devi was such a lady. Right? She was above the material feelings. She could say no. Material feelings are like that. They come and they pull us in the material direction, and one has to just say no. It is not easy. For men also. Therefore I said most men are like women, because they also don't say no. Yeah? They are just as weak. And that's what many women feel, that the men are weak. And therefore they feel not protected, they feel restless, they feel disturbed. Many of the men don't have the strength. Yeah? And therefore they cannot lead the women. And therefore, in this age, partnership oftentimes works better than a man trying to lead the women. That traditional model doesn't work very well, unless the man is quite spiritually strong. Then it falls into place automatically. Kunti Devi was exceptional as a devotee. because she was just completely focused on Krishna, and she even had feelings of attachment for her children, and she just prayed for that to be removed so that she could focus on Krishna, because she could see so much of my affection and attachment is going towards my children, and if that same attachment would go to Krishna, I would do better. So let me be free from this attachment. That is, she was very advanced. I mean, she also prayed, Vipada Satuta Sasvat, please, my dear Lord, please send me trouble. She was praying, my dear Lord, please send me trouble. I don't know if anyone ever prayed, other than Kuti, ever prayed to God for trouble. Did anyone? I never prayed for trouble. I don't. But Kuti, they prayed, please give me problems, because when I'm in trouble, then I remember you. Okay, that's very advanced. One devotee was praying to the Lord and said, oh, my Lord, please purify me. 20 years later he was praying again, and he prayed, my dear Lord, please purify me, gently. That's us. So Kunti Devi is transcendental personality, which shows that when ladies make spiritual advancement, that they can become more advanced than men. And that it has nothing to do anymore with male or female strength or weakness, but it has everything to do with spiritual advancement, which is stronger than male or female conditioning. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was the avatar of both Sri Radha and Sri Krishna. Then why Sri Radha came as Gadadhar Pandit in the same time? Okay, it is explained very nicely by Srila Prabhupada's godbrother, Bhakti Raksak Sridhar Maharaj, who was a great scholar. He explained, as he had heard it from Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and he explained it as such. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came, he was Krishna who took the mood of Srimati Radharani. And with that, he took practically all the attributes of Radharani. The rebelliousness, the fiery spirit that Radharani has, he took it all. So Radharani came still, but because Krishna had taken now the part that she usually plays, there was nothing left for her. All that was left for her was a very simple role in the background as a servant. Therefore we see that Gadadhar, although he may be a manifestation of Shakti Tattva, is not manifesting all the bhav or all the qualities of Radharani. Gadadhar is only assisting. So his mood is more like the mood of Rukmini, very submissive and in the back in a service attitude, and not like Radha domineering Krishna. No, that mood Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took, and Gadadhar was only assisting. So we should not think that, according to Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, we should not look at the relationship between Chaitanya, between Gora and Gadadhar as Radha and Krishna dynamics. He's saying that is not really there. There is a particular branch of Gaudiya Vaishnavism which is called Gauranga Nagar. And the Gauranga Nagar is particularly focusing on Gora Gadadhar having that exchange. Now there's a lot of that around, and it is coming up, and it's on the internet, and there are books, and people are downloading things, and it's slipping in. We see that. But wasn't Bhaktivinoda Thakur worshipping Gora Gadadhar also? Yes, he was. But Bhaktivinoda Thakur in a poem is writing that Gora Gadadhar when they fully manifested as Radha and Krishna, then they transformed into Radha-Madhava. And then the full exchange was there. So between Gaur and Gadadhar, the potential of the exchange is there, but it's not happening. It's just not happening. The potential is there. But when it's happening, they transform into Radha and Krishna. That's how it's to be understood. Okay, scribble, scribble. What should we focus on to move from Kanista, to Madhyam platform? How do we manage to watch TV? No. How do we manage to come to temple more than Christmas, once a week, VF, from work? Okay, if you have children. How do we manage to come to temple more than once a week if you work and have children? Easy, you know. My father was working and 3 kids, and I used to pester him, right, to take me places. I couldn't, when he would come home and we'd all jump in the car and we'd drive to the beach, or he'd take me to so many things. It wasn't just on Sunday. No, many days, yes. So, for material things, we always find some time. The whole family goes for a stroll in the mall, and so many things that we can do. So, we can also go to the temple. It is just where there's a will, there is a way. That's all I can say. If the desire is strong enough, you put all the kids in the car and drive to the temple. And there are people who do that. There are. There was a mother, she had a newborn baby, and she wanted to distribute books. And so what she do? She put the baby in the pram and a box of books under it, and all the ladies which could come see the baby come, put a book. And in fact, she did a lot of books because of the baby, because everyone stopped. Yeah? It was easy. People stopped, and they all bought books from her. So she was big. Where there's a will, there's a way. I would like to know more about the purpose of creation of the material world and its living entities. The living entities, they need a place where they can perform a play, a theater play. The theater play is called Starring Me. It is a very famous play, yes. And so Krishna provided a stage, and they all dressed up in different costumes, all the living beings, yes. And the outfits were quite far out, right? Some sported beards, some mustaches, and female forms all decked out like Christmas trees. It was a lovely arrangement for the play. So it's about a play. And what are we playing? Radha and Krishna. Yes, that's the play. We're trying to be Radha and Krishna. Imitation. And well, boys, do a little Ras Leela. I'm doing a day Ras Leela. Do a little Ras Leela, and then, the ladies can, just like Srimati Radharani, the ladies can go into the Mandir, right, or the Temple of Anger, and so like these things we're imitating in this world, Krishna. So this material world is a place where we can do that, and it's for that purpose and nothing else. so that we can, so that the living entities who want to compete with Krishna and imitate Krishna have a chance. But yeah, at the same time, we do not have the same powers as Krishna. Right? Krishna is all-powerful and, you know, he can lift Govinda, and what can we lift, you know? I mean, sometimes my suitcase is up. I have to go up the stairs. Yeah. Especially travel by train, have to change trains. Running around with a suitcase. Oh, intense. So, we are limited. Okay, I met someone who said he read Srila Swami's Maharaj's translation of Srimad Bhagavatam because he says that he is not part of Prabhupada's movement. Is that acceptable? Is it okay to bypass Prabhupada if one is not a part of the Sampradaya he is from? Is there benefit or detriment by doing so? Yes, it is not. First of all, I'm not sure which Sridhar Swami was spoken, but was it Prabhupada's godbrother or was it another Sridhar Swami? Because there are two. One is the Sridhar Swami, the Bhagavatam commentator, the original, and his commentaries are glorified by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, so they can be read by scholarly devotees. And then there are Prabhupada's godbrothers. Well, they were also learned devotees, and it's not that their books are not bona fide. That's not it. It is simply that sometimes there may be differences with Prabhupada, and it may confuse, and therefore we may, at least at first, really focus on Prabhupada's books. If, however, one becomes a very experienced devotee, then it's not impossible to sometimes read some other book just to get another insight on the matter. But one must first then become a very experienced and dedicated follower of Prabhupada who is thoroughly learned. So there's no hard and fast rule. You know, ISKCON and the Gaudiya Math. The Gaudiya Math, we are of the same family. We have maybe some differences of opinion and in approach, but we are ultimately related. We are all followers of the same roots and same tradition. So if there are some differences, okay, we can still be respectful. So we must be respectful, but we do not have to just at the same time get so close. Although I must say that in many cases I think that the separation that is existing is a little artificial, and I predict that in the future we'll come closer. And I think that is healthy. I just hope it will happen. What sometimes is possible between people takes institutions a lot longer. You know, two people can just say, anyway, let's forget our differences and let's just somehow or other respect each other. For two institutions to say that to each other can take a long time. So, but we hope that one day, whatever differences there are between Vaishnavas can be respected. There are differences, they can be respected, that we can peacefully coexist, but with maturity. We still choose for Prabhupada, because we know that he was the best. But we can respect others who made another choice. I understand that we souls are part of Super Soul. How can we understand the increasing number of living entities? Does it mean that souls are being created constantly, or more souls wanting to enjoy separately from the Lord. Yes, there are unlimited spirit souls, there are always spirit souls coming down from the spiritual world, and there are always spirit souls going up to the spiritual world. The number of souls is just inconceivably great. It's not that there are more and more living beings created. We're all eternal. We're all eternal. So we don't have that creation idea. We have the idea that that we are eternal. So never was there a time when I did not exist, nor you, nor all these kings. Radha-Gopinatha, second chapter. So we are eternal. Can you please sing Kirtan? Jaya Radha, Jaya Krishna, Jaya Vrindavan. This is most I like about your Kirtan. Always see. Sure. Is that what we do? 15 minutes Kirtan at the end, and then say goodbye, goodbye, give some gifts, change our watches, and get ready to deal with the world. Is it? Okay, we can do 15.